Welcome, Nick's Corner. I'm Nick, wearing my wizard robe in my corner. Today, I'm going to talk to you about The Lady of the Lake, Book 5 of The Witcher. It is so good. The Witcher series has definitely become my favorite modern day fantasy. This guy behind me is called classic fantasy in my mind. Anything before the 80s I would consider classic fantasy. Anything after the 90s is pretty much modern day fantasy, and this is no exception. Andrzej Sapkowski did a phenomenal job at finishing off his saga. Ciri is easily my favorite character. We finally understand her magic. She bends time and space, which is very interesting. I love the title of the book, Lady of the Lake, because she ends up being in the magical lake over near Camelot. She gets found by Galahad, which is hilarious. I love that. And she's like holding the sword while being in the water, and he's like, I will take your sword. And she's like, back away from my sword or I'll cut you. And I love it. Ciri is just one of my favorite characters. She always ends up in the worst situations. Always. But she always seems to get out. She is just phenomenal with her sword fighting. She is very intelligent. I really like the way she is cunning. She is willing to do whatever it takes to survive, and that's something I really admire and love about her character. Geralt is kind of abandoning his Witcher ways, but sort of not at the same time. He's very concerned for Ciri, so he's got his crew, and I call them a crew because there's like 5 or 6 of them now, and they're all just traveling a boat trying to find Ciri. One thing I gotta rectify is like Yennefer is not a queen. She is taken prisoner somewhere at the moment. I know I said she was a queen in one of my previous videos, and you know what? I've binged these books. There's so much stuff that happened, and it all blends together, and I don't know who is what and what is who sometimes. So next year, I am probably going to reread these books and do an actual deep dive, very spoiler heavy, into each book, all the way from The Last Wish right up to Lady of the Lake. I'm going to stick Season of Storms between The Last Wish and Sword of Destiny because that's where I feel it belongs. I am going to reread it because I really, really love this story immensely, and I'm very excited and very interested to see if I pick up on some more stuff or different things when I reread it a second time. I have been a fan of this series so far just since the Netflix show came out, and I am taken away by it like immensely. I really enjoyed the books. Um, Also, Geralt and Yennefer, dead? Not dead. I think they're dead. I think Ciri's whole thing at the end of the story when she's talking to Galahad was sort of her wish of what she wished could have happened. Because Geralt and Yennefer are her pseudo mummy and daddy, and she loves them very much. And I think that was something that was very interesting, is when she's talking about their wedding, but she mentions a few other characters who have died along the way. But we're jumping ahead of ourselves. She ends up getting locked up in a tower by her father. Her father is the emperor of the new empire, and he is incest crazy, which is nuts. Um, and I want to know more about that. I want to know how he ended up becoming emperor. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. But because he was supposed to die in a boating accident, I think. But what happened to Pavetta? That's what I want to know. Anyway, so he tries to get Ciri, but they also have Yennefer locked up in the same place, and Geralt shows up, and craziness ensues. Lots of people die. Sapkowski is not afraid to make people die, and I am happy for that. I am so saddened when an author is so scared to kill off a character because, oh no, it might have bad repercussions. Be strict. Be strong. If you have to kill a character off to make the story a better story, do it. I loved the whole entire thing about Geralt getting killed by a 3-pronged fork and ended up being like a pitchfork going into his chest. That was awesome. I love Geralt. Like, he is an amazing character, but for him to finally die after he saved Ciri is just phenomenal to me. I like it. I love it. I'm very pleased about all that. I definitely enjoyed the whole entire time and space jumping that Ciri can do, and the unicorn was a very interesting character in this, because the unicorn really plays a big part with Ciri in getting her to time and space jump, because it has like a psychic connection to her, and they're able to talk with each other. She also has an enchanted mare, Kelpie is her name, and she uses her as well to jump back and forth. And I think that as we move along, Ciri is being chased by someone inside the castle when Geralt and Yennefer are there, and she like just appears like 10 feet down the hall. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, she could just teleport like with her mind instead of having to make like a big old teleportation thing that Yennefer makes. So I'm hugely impressed by this. I would love to see more Ciri short stories and things like that. If Sapkowski isn't going to write any more Geralt, give us more Ciri. Give us more Ciri. Yeah. I am a fan, and I'm going to leave that there. So when we go into our deep dives later next year, expect it. Look forward to it. We are going to do it, because I want to be able to give you guys the best content possible when I can. But and I laugh at this now because I put out a video yesterday called Why You Should Read Audiobooks, and I mentioned how audiobooks helped me with my cognitive memory and stuff. But I feel like at the speed I was reading and the speed that I was listening to the audiobooks, I missed a lot. And so I apologize for that, but I am going to read them a second time and get that information. It's not going to be right away, but we will get there. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming to the corner, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.